case you missed it, crypto is exploding right now, but it's exploding in like a very negative way. Like it's going down, down, down. It's not exploding to the moon. It's exploding to like really the bottom of the ocean. Recently, you might have been hearing about FTX and Binance and that kind of craziness. Well, we have some major updates for you. Now, to get to those updates, I very quickly want to go we'll speed run the history of the current situation. FTX, you've probably heard of it because it was the one company that while everyone else was seemingly struggling ever since the Terra Luna blowup, Anchor, Celsius, Voyager, 3AC, Blockfolio, like it just went on and on and on. And FTX was the strong one, buying them all. So you probably heard of them. And now you might be thinking, well, that seems to have taken a pretty crazy 180. So we're basically going to be talking about the death of FTX and also the current real-time crash of crypto. Now, obviously, it's super easy to Monday morning quarterback. I'm like you, we just see all this success of FTX. But just to paint a picture, because we're here to Monday morning quarterback, let's see if we could connect some of those dots of where things went a little bit awry. If you go back to August, you'll know that the CEO at that point in time, the co-CEO of Alameda, quit. And Alameda is a crypto hedge fund also owned by Sam Bankman-Fried, who for the remainder of this, I'll be just calling SPF because we don't have that kind of time. It's Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF. So anyway, he was the CEO of both of these, of Alameda and also FTX. And for a little bit there, people were saying, they seem to be closely intertwined. Is that right? But because he was just so dominant and so powerful, no one really stopped to ask any hardcore questions. So anyway, the co-CEO of Alameda stepped down in August. Fast forward to September, and then all of a sudden the president of FTX stepped down. So two important figures stepped down, and at the time everyone's like, wait, what? And then they're like, no, we're just doing better things with our life. Not an issue whatsoever. And everyone's like, oh, okay. And then right after that, in October, there was a probe from some sort of Texas regulator into FTX, and everyone just kind of assumed, oh, this is like another thing. The way right now the SEC is pretty harsh on crypto. Library just lost their case. Ripple's still in their case. Everyone's just like, it's just another crypto-related thing. So it was kind of easy to miss all of this. Now, in reality, this is a crazy story of taking advantage of your clients, your investors, and really just pure old greed, just extreme leverage and not paying attention to any of your risk. That pretty much brings us to the start of November, where we are right here. Tensions between crypto giants FTX, Binance spill into the public view. Even though they're spilling into the public view, I think this is very important, and I wanted to include this clip. Because out of all those things I just listed, you might be scratching your head. Well, if they're spilling into the public view now, why weren't these things apparent beforehand? Why was everyone just throwing money in? I mean, we're talking BlackRock, we're talking Sequoia, we're talking Paradigm, we're talking freaking Tom Brady. Well, this is how we all missed it. This is exactly how we all missed it.
You said FTX has a responsibility to seriously consider stepping into the time to save companies. Why did you have that sense of responsibility?
It's not going to be good for anyone long term if we have real pain, if we have like real blowouts, and it's not fair to customers, and it's not going to be good for regulation. It's not going to be good for anything. And so, from a longer term perspective, it's just that was what was important for the ecosystem, is what was important for customers, and it was what was important for people to be able to operate in the ecosystem without being terrified that unknowns were going to blow them up somehow.
Without being terrified that unknowns would somehow be blowing them up. Talk about some crazy foreshadowing. I mean, the authors of this reality, like, they know their very classic writing techniques. But that really dives into it. Think about it psychologically. People just want to be like, oh, this is the guy standing up for us. This is the guy who played it right. He has the money. He's going to backstop it because crypto wasn't doing the best. We hit 69,000 in November of 2021. Obviously, it's been a pretty brutal sell-off. Everyone wanted this to be true. Everyone wanted Sam Bankman-Fried to be the good guy who is not only going to fight for the little guys, but really kind of keep the crypto ecosystem, at least in the short to medium term, kind of going. I personally think that's why everyone was like, easy to overlook it. We had certain blinders on that maybe you just didn't even know was a blinder. Unfortunately, those blinders were ripped off a couple days ago. Divisions in Sam Bankman-Fried's crypto empire blur on his trading titan Alameda's balance sheet. So I know this gets like a little bit maybe specific in the world of finance, but I promise you, if you just stick with me, you're going to understand everything. As of June 30th of this year, the company's assets amounted to $14.6 billion. Its single biggest asset, $3.66 billion of unlocked FTT, the third largest entry on the asset side, accounting for the ledger, a $2.16 billion pile of FTT collateral. So right there, just under $6 billion with a B, is in one way or another related to FTT. If you've never heard of FTT before, this is FTX's native token. Basically, they were functioning as their own central bank. They created money out of the ether, and then they put it on their books. So they had $14.6 billion in assets, $8 billion in liabilities, and almost $6 billion of it was just their own funny money. Well, this report came out in early November, and then all of a sudden people started to do a deeper dive. Remember how I said FTT accounted for about $6 billion of their assets? Well, that's weird, when FTT itself has a market cap of $3 billion. So right away, flags started to fire off. I've previously done some videos. I'm sure you've already seen this on Twitter, but this is what led the CEO, CZ of Binance, to make a tweet that was eventually the downfall of FTX. And also, if you ask me, this is probably one of the most cutthroat, brutal business events we have seen not only this year, but I would say probably in the past couple decades. Binance's CEO, CZ, is not messing around. So basically, he saw all of this, and then he went out and he said, hey, we're selling our FTT. And then a follow-up tweet, he said, learning from Luna. And everyone's like, whoa. True or not, the fact that he associated this with Luna, the thing that really has been keeping crypto down and blew up everything, Celsius, Anchor, Voyager, 3AOC, the list goes on and on and on. The fact that he associated with this after this information came out, this was such a brutal 1-2 punch that eventually led to not only a KO, but if metaphorically I had to explain what happened here, basically 1-2 punch, he's down, and then he took a knife out of his pants and slit his throat. It was so incredibly brutal because it prompted what's referred to as a bank run. This was a digital bank run. And from there, you see all the reserves just dwindling. There was like billions was getting extracted because people were panicking. They didn't want to lose their money. And it got insane. It got so insane, it led us to this. Binance is strongly leaning towards scraping FTX rescue takeover after a glance at the books. It was so bad, no one wanted to deal with FTX. The rumors are that they were going to everywhere in Silicon Valley to see if anyone would give them money to stop this absurd liquidity crunch. And everyone said, no, go F yourself. This is so bad. The holes in your book, as of now, as of the time I'm filming this, anywhere from $6 to $10 billion. That's the holes in their book right now. And most people are centering around $8 billion. So picture this. One guy publicly destroys your entire company and your life. We're going to be talking about his own financial situation in a second. It's so bad that you have to go back to him and be like, here, can you take the leftovers of what you destroyed, please? Like, maybe. So they were going to get into it. And then Binance looked into this situation, and I don't even think they realized how bad they destroyed the company. They did some DD. They had a letter of intent that lasted for basically one day. And then they're like, no, we are out. So this is the biggest news. This is as of today. Obviously, I have the other videos. Feel free to check it out. But this is the major day. I just want to give you the rundown. The major news right here. Binance had a letter of intent, was looking into getting it. And then they were like, whoa, we're donezo. And they pulled it out, and it basically led to this. Bitcoin vomiting from 21.5 thousand to right now sub 16. Ethereum 1,700 to 1,000. FTT, that token we were talking about, went from $26 to $1.30. Even Solana is vomiting from 36 all the way down to 14. Obviously, it is a bad, bad situation. And if there was only one thing that we could have all known, it had to go in a bad direction, well, as always, all roads lead back to the inverse Kramer.
JP Morgan of this generation, Sam Bankman-Fried's FTX.
Yes.
He's literally calling them the Warren Buffett of our generation.
Average fees per transaction across the industry.
We should have known.
By 50%.
We should
a lot of that
have
is the
known.
man, Sam Bankman-Fried.
To be fair, though, it's always fun to bag on Kramer, but much of the world, right here, Fortune, the next Warren Buffett, everyone was just throwing as many accolades as they could at this guy. And he kind of told us himself. I mean, listen to this. This is in front of a room of lawmakers.
Last thing that I'll say is if you look at what precipitated some of the 2008 financial crisis, you saw a number of bilateral, bespoke, non-reported transactions happening between financial counterparties, which then got repackaged and releveraged again and again and again, such that no one knew how much risk was in that system until it all fell apart. If you compare that to what happens on FTX or other major cryptocurrency venues today, there's complete transparency about the full open interest. There's complete transparency about the positions that are held. There's a robust, consistent risk framework applied, and we're excited to work with the CFTC on our U.S. licensed and regulated venue to bring a lot of this. Last thing that I'll say is if you look at...
So he's saying everything you need to, but then behind closed doors, it's the complete opposite. Look at this. FTX is some mutant combo of Lehman, illiquid, undercapitalized, and MF Global illegally used client funds to fund its own terrible investments. This is what FTX did, and it's the same guy who said that in front of lawmakers of sounding all good, like it's great, we're playing by the books, we're protecting everyone, and that's how we got so many people to invest. And man, oh man. But to be fair, he told us the truth. Bankman-Fried warns some crypto exchanges already secretly insolvent. He just didn't add a little bit on that. It was him himself. He told us. I mean, honestly, I don't even know how much we could come after the dude. He said it right here. They are secretly insolvent. And I guess he was literally just giving us insider information about FTX. He's like pointing, he's like, I'm the one who's secretly insolvent. Wild, wild, wild. And then that leads us to the grand finale of today. Binance backs out of FTX rescue, leaving the crypto exchange on the brink of collapse. In fact, Bloomberg said it was worth $1. Binance says it will walk away from the deal to buy FTX. Our hope was to be able to support FTX's customers to provide liquidity, but the issues are beyond our control or ability to help. That's verbiage from the #1 crypto exchange on the entire planet. Binance pulls out of deal to acquire rival crypto exchange FTX. The rapid collapse of FTX built by the billionaire Sam Bankman-Fried suggests that no company in the freewheeling, loosely regulated crypto industry is safe. The cryptocurrency exchange Binance has pulled out of the deal to save its rival FTX, a blow to investors who had hoped that the agreement would help them retrieve funds after FTX collapsed this week. Every time a major player in an industry falls, retail consumers will suffer. We have seen over several years that the crypto ecosystem is becoming more resilient, and we believe in time that outliers that misuse user funds will be weeded out of the free market, by the free market. Well, I don't want to hold my breath, but I mean, I hope we get there, but I should say that I don't want to hold my breath. And obviously, this is the big commentary from mainstream finance media on the matter.
So Binance's deal to buy FTX is officially off the table. We have a statement here from a Binance spokesperson. They say as a result of corporate due diligence, as well as the latest news reports regarding mishandled customer funds and alleged U.S. agency investigations, we have decided that we will not pursue the potential acquisition of FTX.com. They go on to say in the beginning, our hope was to be able to support FTX's customers to provide liquidity, but the issues are beyond our control or ability to help. Scott, this had been a non-binding letter of intent, but the deal not going through, according to that statement. So Binance's deal to...
So just to be clear, that was the official statement from Binance after they backed out of the deal today. Just wild. Pandemonium. And I want to share my thoughts on maybe a better way to kind of handle this. Maybe more of a fair way, and I want to get your thoughts. But before that, a couple other extra things to share. FTX probed by regulators over handling of client funds and lending. This isn't a company just going bust. This is now becoming very, very big in terms of the justice system. It is absolutely wild. And also, to add on top of it, the past 36 to 48 hours for Sam Bankman-Fried have been financially brutal. He was worth over 16 billion, and now he's worth negative monies. FTX CEO has gone bankrupt. He personally still owes over 650 million to lenders. Imagine that. Imagine in 1 to 2 days getting publicly ripped apart, and then your own financial situation. Not only were you, at one point, a billionaire god doing whatever you want, and then in a day and a half, going deeply, deeply in debt, while SEC is now investigating you. Absolutely insane. Truly, truly insane. Apparently, Michael Lewis, famous finance writer, was writing a book on the success of FTX. He was at the Super Bowl with them and had multiple trips to the Bahamas to cover it. Looks like he just got his ending. The problem with crypto, as in most things, is the leverage. If you don't know how much leverage is in crypto, you don't know anything about crypto, no matter how much else you think you know. And this was from Anonymous, June of 2021. And this is from Michael J. Burry, obviously famed from The Big Short. And it's interesting to me that so much of this is really common lessons that you need to learn in the market. Whether you're looking at FTX right now, or the housing situation, or Lehman Brothers, or just any craziness in any markets that have ever existed in mankind, it comes down to risk and reward. And time again, we get these stories of people who are overly greedy and they use leverage and they blow their risk out of the water. And it might work for X amount of time. Everyone might think you're awesome and you're the smartest person in the room, such as Enron, and then it blows up in your face. Whether you're a big business or all the way down to an individual trader, everything in the markets boils down to that. What is your risk and your reward? Now, to share my opinions on the entire situation, this is just ridiculous. I very, very much hope that some big player steps in. And honestly, I would argue to recoup all of the small people on FTX. And what I mean by that is anyone whose account was, let's just say, below $250,000, because those are the people who it's truly impactful to their life. Like, that's the difference between them having food on their table or not. If you're a big player, whatever, you can suck up the L and you could try to figure it out in a court. And there in the past have been unique solutions to this. For example, maybe whoever buys you, you get some sort of debt token. And then as time progresses, you get fees from all the transactions. And eventually that business would buy the debt tokens back. And whoever needs to get the leftover money, you get your leftover money. So I think there are unique solutions. I am by no means some bankruptcy expert. These were just some ideas that were floating around on the internet, and I wanted to share them with you because I thought they were really, really smart ideas. But overall, as I showed you, crypto is currently vomiting. This is not good whatsoever. In the long term, I think some crypto will survive, not all crypto. I'm still mainly paying attention to Bitcoin. I'm also paying quite a bit of attention to Solana. I wanted to short FTT today, but I couldn't even on KuCoin. And earlier today it was at 390, and right now it's trading at 190. I would already be up a massive percentage, but that just shows you how nuts things are. So for me, the main crypto projects, I'm really talking about Bitcoin. I'm just looking to buy the dip. I think with all this, I'll be able to get more Bitcoin, probably closer to $10,000 to $12,000. That's my personal estimation. We'll see how nuts things get, but I'm still in this for the long term. I want to be very clear with that. And to wrap this part up, I want your thoughts. Please, in a comment below, let me know what you're thinking about crypto right now and all this pure chaos and pandemonium.